All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to peel back the curtain on this massive, invisible force that's, well, it's shaping our entire world. It's called surveillance capitalism. And you know what? It all kicks off with a question you've probably asked yourself a million times. Yeah, how is it possible? I mean, think about it. Billions of us use these amazing services Google, Facebook, you name it, every single day. And we don't pay a dime. So, how are they free? Well, the answer isn't just a simple trick. It's the key to understanding a whole new kind of economy. And to really get it, you've got to realize this is not your grandfather's capitalism. This isn't what we learned about in school. This is something else entirely. So, what is it? At its absolute core, it's an economy built on, well, on us. It takes our most personal experiences, every click, every conversation, even where we're standing right now, and turns them into data. But here's the kicker. This data isn't just used to predict what we'll do next, it's used to actively nudge and shape what we'll do next. That's a huge difference. Think about old school industrial capitalism, right? It took raw materials like lumber and steel and turned them into physical things, cars, furniture, whatever. Surveillance capitalism, it's a totally different game. The raw material, it's our own human experience. And the product isn't a toaster. The product is a prediction about you. This quote right here just nails it. It's the perfect analogy. Just like oil powered the 20th century, our personal data is the fuel for the 21st. It's what makes this whole multi-trillion-dollar engine roar to life. You've probably heard that old saying, if you're not paying, you're the product. But honestly, it's a little more complicated than that. A better way to think about it is, you're not the product, you're the source of the raw material. You're the oil field. Okay, so how does this engine actually work? What's the process? Well, it all hinges on this key concept that these companies basically invented out of thin air, something called behavioral surplus. Just think of it as a pipeline, a four-step process. First, you've got data extraction. They collect way more data than they actually need to make their services work. All that extra stuff, that digital exhaust, that's the behavioral surplus. Then that surplus gets fed into these massive machine learning systems to be processed and packaged into what they call prediction products. And finally, those products get sold on what are basically stock markets for human behavior. And the sheer scope of what they capture is just mind-blowing. We're not just talking about what you search for on Google. We're talking about your exact location thousands of times a day. We're talking about your emotional state, which they can guess just from how you type or the tone of your voice. Your social connections, who you talk to, who you don't. It's an unbelievably detailed portrait of our lives. So you might be thinking, well, I agreed to this, right? I clicked the button. But is that really meaningful consent? Let's just look at this number, 76. 76. That's how many full 8-hour workdays you would have to spend every single year just to read the privacy policies for the services you use. It's literally an impossible task. No one can do that. And this is exactly why Shoshana Zuboff, the scholar who came up with this whole term, argues that it's not a fair trade at all. She calls it a unilateral claim. Basically, they're just taking our human experience as if it were a natural resource, like timber or ore, without any real, meaningful consent from any of us. Okay, so who built this thing? I mean, this system feels like it's everywhere now, right? But its architecture, its blueprint, can actually be traced back to a couple of key pioneers who figured out just how incredibly profitable this could be. And it really all started with Google. Believe it or not, after the dot-com bubble burst, the company was in serious trouble, under huge financial pressure. And that's when they had their eureka moment. They discovered that all the leftover data from user searches, what they called digital exhaust, was pure gold. Why? Because they could use it to predict with stunning accuracy which ads people would click on. This discovery, this was the big bang of surveillance capitalism. And this one quote just perfectly sums up that massive shift in our relationship with technology. We thought we were searching Google, but Google was searching us. All of a sudden, we became the thing being searched. And wow, did it work. The financial success of this model was just astronomical. The profits shot up so fast, so high, that pretty much the rest of the digital world had no choice but to copy them. It became the new blueprint for how to make money online. And then, of course, came Facebook. What they did was brilliant. In a way, They took Google's model and applied it directly to our social lives. They realized that our friendships, our relationships, our likes, our dislikes, even our emotional states, all of that could be translated into incredibly valuable behavioral data. For a long time, I think most of us just saw this as the price we pay for free stuff, right? We get these creepily specific ads, but hey, free email. But the true cost of this system, the real price, goes so much deeper than just advertising. For a lot of people, the Cambridge Analytica scandal was that light bulb moment. That's when this abstract threat suddenly became terrifyingly real. Here you had a political firm that harvested the personal data of 87 million Facebook users, and they weren't trying to sell shoes, they were building detailed psychological profiles to influence democratic elections. And the whistleblower who exposed the whole thing, he described their goal in these incredibly honest and frankly chilling terms. He said they built models to target their inner demons. Just let that sink in. This wasn't about persuasion anymore. This was about weaponizing our own psychological vulnerabilities on a massive, massive scale. The fallout from that scandal was a huge turning point. For one, it proved that this machinery could absolutely be used to undermine democracy. And it sparked this global public awakening about data privacy that, for the first time, led to real government investigations and new laws. And that really reveals the true stakes here. This whole thing is about so much more than just privacy. It's about our autonomy, our ability to make our own choices, free from hidden manipulation. And it's about the health of our democracy, which really depends on having a shared reality, a public square, something that this kind of micro-targeting is specifically designed to shatter into a million little pieces. But here's the thing. This isn't some dystopian future we just have to sit back and accept. The story doesn't end here, not at all. Because a really powerful and really diverse resistance is already fighting back. And that pushback, it's coming from all sides. It's coming from landmark regulations like Europe's GDPR, which is inspiring laws all over the world. It's coming from grassroots digital rights groups, from the incredible courage of insiders and whistleblowers, and frankly, it's coming from a public that is finally waking up and demanding more control over their own lives and their own data. Which brings us right back to that ultimate warning from Shoshana Zuboff. This isn't just about economics or tech. As she puts it, a future shaped by this system threatens to cost us our humanity. It's that serious. So, that leaves us with this final, crucial question. The dominance of surveillance capitalism. It can feel totally inevitable, can it? But it's not. It was created by human choices, and it can be changed by them. So the real question for all of us is, what kind of digital future do we actually want? And what are we, you and I, going to do to build it?